Yes. Hello everyone. Welcome to SuPrabha Academy MPSC English medium course for combined exam Group B and Group C. My name is Akshay, and as you are attending a demo lecture series, so today we are going to discuss about the subject polity, in which citizenship chapter is an important chapter from the point of view of our exam. Okay. So let's begin. So let's analyze about the citizenship, the chapter. In this chapter, what we are going to cover, what is mentioned in the in the Constitution of our India, okay, and so on. So this chapter, citizenship, it is mentioned in our Constitution in part second, okay, and it have in all articles from article 5 to article 11, okay. And some important points is that our constitution does not define the term citizenship, okay. So the Constitution of India have not defined the term citizenship. And the second thing which is important is the President of India is the first citizen of India, okay. So the commission might ask you the question related to this, that who is the first citizen of India, or the term citizenship has been defined very elaborately in our constitution. So the constitution do not define this term, and the president is the first citizen of our India, okay. So as in our India or in any nation, there are two types of people residing in the country, okay. So the first type of people is known as, or it is, they are known as citizens, and the second one are known as aliens, okay. So what do you mean by citizen, or what do you mean by alien? So citizens are the persons, there are two types of citizens. The first type is the people who are residing, okay, they are residing in the country, okay, or they are the residents of our India, of the nation. And the second one is the citizens or the individuals who are not residing currently in that nation, they are known as non-residents, okay. And in context of our India, they are known as NRIs, non-resident Indian. Similarly, aliens, there are two types of aliens. One which have legal documentation, okay. In that legal documentation category, there are two types of aliens known as friendly aliens and enemy aliens. What do you mean by friendly aliens? Friendly aliens are the nationals of such country which have friendly relations with our country, okay, and they are friends of India, okay. And in terms of enemy alien, the country which have not good relation or is it at war with India are known as enemy aliens. And in this category, the second category is illegal, illegal documentation. The person who don't have legal documents. In that we have two. The first one is refugee and the second ones are the migrants who have entered India through illegal way. Refugees are the person who who are being prosecuted, or the country of that refugee or that individual is at war, okay, and there is a danger to their lives, so they migrate to other nation for the sake of their life. And the second term are the illegal immigrants who cross the border or enter any other nation illegally, okay, fine. So this type of classification is there for any nation and for our India as well, okay. So I hope you have got an idea about overall citizens, okay, or the individuals who are residing in India or in a country, fine. Let's move on to another slide, okay. So here we have discussed that there are two types of individuals residing in any country, okay. So what are the specific differences between citizens and aliens, okay. So the citizens of that nation have all the rights which are available to the citizens or of that country, which the country provides. The types of all rights which the country provides are provided to the citizens. In context of in case of aliens, the rights are restricted according to the type of that alien. If the alien is friendly, there are restricted rights, or if the alien is or belongs to enemy country, the rights are more restricted. Okay, like for example, friendly alien have the right of or the provisions which are related to article number 22 in our constitution. Similarly, or in case of enemy aliens do not have right for given by article number 22 that says that protection against arrest and detention. So there is a difference between friendly alien and enemy alien. Let's go through some data through which you can understand exactly that what are the types and what are the differences between their rights of citizens and aliens. Okay, so the citizens have full membership of the state. State means, does this means that the state of Maharashtra or Gujarat? No, it means the state, here the state means the country. In our context, it is India. So the citizen of that, if a person is a citizen of that nation, he has the full membership for that nation. But in context of aliens, aliens are not full members of that nation, okay, or that country. Fundamental rights in India, all the fundamental rights are available to the citizens. But in case of aliens, there are limited rights which are present for or available for the aliens. Okay. Article number 19. What does article number 19 our constitution says? It says that the individual has the right of freedom of speech and expression, assembly, association, movement, residence and profession. All these rights are available to the citizens of India, but they are not available for the aliens. Okay. Cultural and educational rights which are mentioned in our constitution under fundamental rights article number 29 and 22, which are related to minority and educational institutions which are handled by or established by minorities, are also available for the citizens of India. But in case of aliens, they are not available. Political rights. What are the political rights of citizens of India? The political rights are they can vote in the elections of state as well as central government or legislature, parliamentary elections and state assembly elections. Similarly, a citizen of India can contest the elections which are held at central level, that means for parliamentary elections, for member of parliament, in case of state, for state assembly, that is member of legislative assembly, and for the local self-government as well. But aliens cannot contest or vote in the said elections we have discussed. Eligible for high offices. So the citizen of India, an individual who is a citizen of India, can contest the elections for president, vice president, okay, governors, chief minister, member of parliament and so on. And he can also he is also eligible for the judges of Supreme Court, High Court or the government authority, bureaucracy, diplomats and so on. But the aliens can never contest or readily available for or contest the elections for such post. Okay, so these are the differences between the rights of citizens and aliens. Okay, rights which are exclusively available for citizens, and these rights are mentioned in the constitution. Article number 15, okay, says protection from the discrimination on the basis of religion, race, caste, sex and place of birth. So this right is exclusively mentioned or available for citizen only. Similarly, article number 16, equality of opportunity in public employment. So if an individual is a citizen of India, he has the right to have equality for the opportunities for public employment. Okay. Article number 19, the 6 freedoms which we have discussed, okay, earlier: freedom of speech and expression, assembly, association, residence, movement and profession. Fine. Article number 29 and 30, which are cultural and educational rights, which are available for minorities and their establishment for educations. Okay. Right to vote, right to contest under for parliament and state legislature, and above all, okay, so all these rights are given to the citizens. But after enjoying or while enjoying all these rights, citizens have also had also followed to the fundamental duties which are mentioned in our constitution. So the aliens don't have to follow all the fundamental duties which are mentioned in our constitution under article number 51A. Okay. And in which part are these fundamental duties are mentioned? Kindly comment. Okay. So we can discuss it. Yes. Fine. YouTube Guruji, nice representation. Thank you very much. Okay. So kindly comment that in which part of our constitution the fundamental duties are mentioned. Okay. I have told you that they are mentioned in article 51A. Okay. In 51A. So the citizen have also have to follow the fundamental duties as well. Okay. Constitutional provisions. What are the constitutional provisions which are mentioned for citizenship in our constitution? So the constitutional provisions which are mentioned for citizenship is from article 5 to 11. Okay. At the commencement of the constitution on 26 January 1950, 4 categories of citizens or individuals became the citizen of India. So our constitution have mentioned some details for acquiring the citizenship of the individuals of that time. Okay. So you can have the citizenship of India in 1950 by these 4 or 5 ways. So article number 5 describes or gives the details of acquiring the citizenship or acquisition of citizenship through domicile. What do you mean by domicile? Okay, so let me give you a brief explanation that what do you mean exactly by domicile. Let's divide it in 2 ways. Okay, you have address of your own. So there are 2 types of address. The first one is permanent and the second one is temporary. Fine. So what do you mean by permanent address? Let me give you an example. Like I am from Nagpur. Okay, my forefathers are from Nagpur and we are residing there in Nagpur for last 50 years and we don't have any future ideas to resettle in any other place. Okay, so that would be my permanent address. And like for example, though I am from Nagpur, but I got selected, okay, and I got posted in Delhi for my work or my job. Okay, so though I am residing in Delhi, but my permanent address would be Nagpur. Okay, so there is difference between permanent address and temporary address. So this permanent address where the citizen is residing for last few years and have no desire to resettle at any place, that is known as his domicile place. Okay, that is known as domicile. And what do you mean by resident? That means that the person is living there but for a temporary period. Okay, and he have desires to resettle at any other place given. So that is known as difference between permanent and temporary address or resident or domicile. So a person who was domicile in India have become the citizen of India. Okay, if there are 4 conditions. If he is domicile, okay, he is eligible for citizenship of India, but he should have been domicile in India, he should have born in India, If he is not born in India, that is fine. But either of his parents should have born in India. Okay. And he should have ordinary residence for 5 years before 26 January 1950. So these are the 4 conditions which have been mentioned in article number 5 under domicile. Okay. Second comes the article number 6. Fine. So India got its independence in 1947, but with independence came a very tragic moment or tragic thing, which was partition. So when India got partitioned into 2 dominion or 2 nations, which was Pakistan and India, peoples were migrating from Pakistan or from India and vice versa. So the people who have migrated from Pakistan to India, okay, people who have migrated from Pakistan to our lovable and great India, there are some provisions for them that they should have, that the way they should have citizenship. Okay, so the person who has migrated can acquire citizenship by the following conditions. Okay, that he himself, he or she himself, or his or her parents and grandparents should have born in undivided India. Okay, so the individual, he himself or she himself should have born in India, or his or her grandparents or parent should have been born in undivided India. Undivided India means Bangladesh, India and Pakistan, this whole territory. Fine. Or he or she should have migrated before 19 July 1948. Okay, so the person, if he or she has migrated from Pakistan to India before this date, he or she got citizenship directly. But after this date, Indian government introduced a system which was known as permit system. Okay, which was known as permit system. What was the system? According to this system, you have to take the permit of that nation from which you are migrating. Okay, so you have to register there that we are migrating from Pakistan to India, and you have to show that permit later when the at the borders of our India, and then you would be enlisted on the rolls of permit accordingly. Okay, and after getting that permit, you won't get citizenship immediately. Okay, you have to reside for 6 months. Okay, you have to reside 6 months before applying for citizenship for India. Okay, I hope you have understood this article, which is related to the individuals who have migrated from Pakistan to India. Okay. So the next article, which is article number 7, and it deals with the individuals who have migrated from India to Pakistan, and after getting migrated, when all the protest and all that bloodsheds were happening all over the Indian and Pakistan territories, they got the real taste of Pakistanis and the Pakistan land. Okay, the government of Pakistan, that how cruel were there and how they were facing the atrocities for being an Indian and a migrated Indian. Okay, so after experiencing such atrocities, they came back to India. Okay, so they got migrated to Pakistan, then they returned to India, and they said we want citizenship of India. So Indian government said, don't worry, we will give you the citizenship of India, but on one condition. And what was that condition? That condition was that you have to reside 6 months, at least 6 months in India before applying. Why 6 months? to reassure that you won't migrate again back to Pakistan. Okay, so in this way, this condition was introduced and it is mentioned in article number 7. Okay. While the lecture is going on, if you have any doubts about the articles and or the explanation, you can comment in the given link, okay, and we will discuss it. Okay, so next comes the article number 8. So what is related for what is the provisions of article number 8? So we have discussed the individuals who have migrated to India from Pakistan. Second, we have discussed the individuals who have migrated to Pakistan but later came back to India for resettlement. Now, what about the individuals who were not residing in India or Pakistan? Okay, who were residing in US, who were residing in Europe, who were residing in Africa, because the British government have sent many individuals as slaves in Africa and many other nations. They have sent many Indians who were working in military, army, navy or air force to another nation to fight the world wars. There were many diplomats, there were many bureaucrats who were serving in other nations as well. There were many revolutionaries who were based in other nation, like for Germany, for UK, for London, in San Francisco, San Francisco. Okay, like in like for Ghadar Party and so on. So these revolutionaries were also Indians, but they were residing in other country. So for them, government of India formulated some provisions which are that the person or his parent or the grandparents should have born in undivided India. Okay, so the condition was he or she should have born in India, or his or her parents or grandparents should have born in India. And after fulfilling this condition, the citizen should have registered himself or herself in the consulate or the embassy of India in that nation. Okay, so before or after the commencement of the constitution. Okay, so in this way, the nationals of Indian nationals who were residing in other countries, they have got their citizenship. Okay, so in this way, we have also covered the section which is related to the nationals who were residing abroad. Fine. Now comes article number 9. Okay, article number 9 says voluntary acquisition of foreign citizenship. So it basically says if a person is voluntarily acquires foreign citizenship, he ceases to be a citizen of India. So after independence, many nationals, if an individual who wants to become the citizen of like for example Britain, so if he becomes a citizen of India and he is already a citizen of India, he might have two citizenship, but our constitution does not provide that. Our constitution says if an individual is applying for citizenship and he became the citizen of that specific country or other country, he automatically loses the citizenship of India. Fine. Article number 10 and article number 11 have given some powers to the parliament in case or in the matters for citizenship. Okay, so article number 10 says continuation of citizenship. Fine. So imagine one thing, that you got the citizenship in 1950, citizenship of India, and an authority or a prime minister or a chief minister or any executive authority says that you are not you are a citizen of India, that your citizenship has been cancelled. So this sort of thing should not have happened at that moment, because that time was very unstable. Each and every part of India was following economic burdenship. Okay, there were famines and so on. So for such conditions and such situations, there should be assurance by the constitution to the citizens that their citizenship won't be terminated. Okay, so that assurance is given in article number 10. It says existing citizenship continues. If you are the citizen of India, you should and you will be the citizen of India unless and until Parliament by the legislative process forms laws to terminate your citizenship. No executive order or authority can terminate your citizenship. Okay, so that is article number 10. What does article number 11 says? It says about the powers of Parliament. Okay, so according to article 11, the constitution has given the powers to form laws for citizenship to the Parliament. And mind this thing and note down that these powers are given only to Parliament and they are not given to state legislature. So the whole and sole authority to make or formulate laws for citizenship is Parliament. Parliament may make any laws regarding acquisition, means to grant or to take the citizenship. Termination means to abolish or to take away your citizenship back. Okay, and other matters which are related to citizenship. Okay, so this is article number 11, that is related to powers of Parliament. Now we have gone through articles from 5 to 11 and we have understood that which individuals got the citizenship at that moment when India got independent. Okay, so and now we are going to deal the clauses or the conditions or the types of how a citizenship individual can get the citizenship and how the citizenship of that individual may be terminated, which is mentioned not in the constitution but the Citizenship Act of 1955, which was enacted by the provisions of article number 11 of the constitutions. Okay, so this Citizenship Act has been amended 6 times till the date. The first amendment was introduced in 1986, then 1992, then 2003, then 2005, then 2015 and recently 2019. In all it contains 4 schedules. Okay, and this Citizenship Act also included the citizenship of Commonwealth. Okay, but which was abolished or repealed in 2003 by an amendment by the Atal Bihari Vajpayee Sarkar, okay, or government. Fine. So let's come to the provisions of acquisition which are mentioned in the Citizenship Act. Okay. The first provision is about by acquisition of citizenship by birth. Okay. There is a law for citizenship which is related to birth and it is jus soli. Jus soli, which means law of soil. What does this term mean? It means that any person who is born on this land, the land of India, the land of America, is by default granted citizenship, okay, and he is the citizen of that nation. Okay, so a person who is citizen, is citizen of India, if he is born in India, irrespective of the nationality of his parents. Okay, so let's take an example. There is a couple, okay, and their child is born in India. So this couple might be from Pakistan, from Bhutan, from America, from London, from UK, Germany, France, or any other nation. If their if their child is born on this land of India, their child would get the citizen of India. That's it. Okay, so this provision says so this concept or this law says that any person who is born, a child is born on the land, is the citizen of that land. Fine, but in the Act of Citizenship Act, we have some conditions in our Indian context. Okay, So if a child is born on the soil of India, he would be granted citizenship. Okay, if he is born on 26 January 1950 to, or between 26 January 1950 to 1st July 1987, he would be granted citizenship if he is born in India and citizen by birth regardless of his parentage. So if a child is born between these years, if and his parents are not the nationals of India or citizens of India, he would be granted citizenship. But there was an amendment which was introduced in 1986, and it says that a child who is born after 1st July 1987, either of the parents must be Indians. Okay, either of his father or his mother should be Indian, then only then he or she, the child, would be the citizen of India. Another amendment was introduced in 2003, and it says that a child born after 3rd December 2004, both of the parents should be Indians, or one Indian and another one should not be an illegal immigrant. Okay, so have you understood that what are the different phases on which the amendments were introduced and what are the different factors? Okay, so let's revise it. Okay, so a child who is born between 26 January 1950 and 1st July 1987, he should be the citizen of India. Doesn't matter that that his parents' nationality is whatever. Okay, but after 1st July 1987, he should be the citizen of India only if either of his parents is Indian. And after 2004, 3rd December 2004, both of the parents should be Indian citizens, or one should be Indian citizen and another one should not be an illegal immigrant. So why were these conditions were introduced later? Because there was a phenomena going on the border areas with Pakistan, West Pakistan as well as East Pakistan. Today it is known as Bangladesh. Okay, so the militants or terrorists or anti-nationals, what were doing in Pakistan, they would get married to number of girls, and they would pregnant that girl, and they would slowly penetrate or cross the border of Indian borders, and they will place the girl in Indian territory. Fine. And after, when the girl would get delivered, the child would be known as citizen of India, and he would be granted citizenship. Okay. And after few years, when the child will be an adult, he was involved in anti-national or terrorist or militant activities. So to curb this situation or this phenomena, government have introduced such conditions. Okay, so we have discussed overall conditions and provisions, as well as we have discussed the reason behind the implementation of these provisions. Okay, so let's have some international comparison of the provision of acquisition of citizenship by birth. Okay, so different countries have different types of provisions for the acquisition of citizenship by birth. In USA and Canada, nations like USA and Canada, they follow completely this law, that is jus soli or by birth, or law of soil. Okay, anyone who is born in that nation is the citizen of India. That's why you will see or you have heard that many people from Mexico try to penetrate the border and cross the border of USA, just so that their son or daughter could have a great future in America, being the American citizen. Okay, in India, we follow this principle or this law, but in a restricted way. We have dealt we have learned or understood the conditions which Indian government have introduced. So we follow the jus soli, jus soli, but in a restricted way. Germany. Germany mainly follows jus sanguinis. We will discuss it in the next slides that what do you mean by jus sanguinis. Okay, but Germany follows the law of blood and law of not the law of soil. Fine. Next come acquisition of citizenship by descent. What do you mean by descent? It means the lineage. Okay, like if your grandfather was Indian, your father was Indian, so naturally you will become an Indian citizen. That is known as blood, law of blood. That is jus sanguinis. Jus sanguinis, and this is the principle which Germany follows. Okay, it is also known as acquisition by descent. Okay, so if a person who is born outside India, if a person who is born outside India after 26 January 1950 and if his father was citizen of India, he would be citizen of India. Okay, if a person, like for example, an individual who is born in America and his father is Indian and his mother is American citizen, so he would be granted citizenship of India by descent. Okay, but this was a discrimination based on gender. What if the father is American and the mother is Indian? That the child would get Indian citizenship. So there was a discrimination on base of gender, and it was rectified in the coming amendment, which was in 1992. So after 10 December 1992, a change was introduced, and a child who is born outside India and either of his parent is an Indian, okay, one of his parents is Indian, he would be granted the citizenship of India. Okay, and after 3rd December 2004, if a person is born outside India and he have all this fulfill all these conditions, one more condition was introduced, and that was he should have registered in the near Indian consulate within a year. Okay, so if a child is born in America, his parents should have registered his birth in the consulate of India or embassy of India within a year. Okay, so in this way a citizen or a child may have acquire the citizenship by descent. Okay, by registration. So basically the central government may grant citizenship, okay, to an individual by registration. And what are the conditions? Okay, so this process is generally used or available for the persons of Indian origin. Okay, for the persons of Indian origin. What do you mean by person of Indian origin? A person whose father, grandfather or great grandfather or grandmother or mother or grandmother is of Indian origin, okay, was Indian. So that person is known as Indian origin. Like we have Rishi Sunak, we have Kamala Harris, we have Kalpana Chawla, we have many other individuals who are residing in other countries or they are citizens of other countries, but they are known as persons of Indian origin. So if that kind of person wants to apply for the citizenship, he should be registered, and that registration is carried by the central government. There are some conditions which he should have fulfilled. The first condition says that if he belongs to any of the following categories: person of Indian origin residing in India for 7 years. So if a individual is PIO or person of Indian origin, he should have resided in India for 7 years. Okay, like for example, a person came in India in 2025. So he have to reside in India till 2032 to apply for citizenship through registration. Okay. person of Indian origin residing in any country outside undivided India. So this registration process is not available, okay, or is available to the person who is residing in in any country but not in Pakistan or Bangladesh. Okay, so the person of Indian origin who is residing in Pakistan or Bangladesh cannot apply for the citizenship through registration. Person who is married to an Indian citizen. Okay, so uh, we have many cases in our India that foreign nationals are married to the Indian citizens, and if that foreign national is residing in India for 7 years, he or she can apply citizenship through the registration process. So if your husband or if your wife is a foreign national, he or she can get the citizenship through this registration process. Okay. Second, minor children of Indian citizen. So if in case citizens of India are residing outside the country and they have a child is born to them, so that child or that minor could have be could be registered as a citizen of India through the registration process. All the overseas citizens of India card holders, if the OCI card holders are have if if an individual have that OCI card for 5 years and plus he is residing in India for for 12 months, he could be given the citizenship of India. We will discuss later that what do you mean by OCI and all those things. Okay, so have patience. Person whose parents were Indian citizens and are resident for 12 months. Okay, so the person whose parents were Indians and they are and the person is residing in India for 12 months can also get the citizenship. Person of full age whose parents are registered as citizen. Okay, so this is for a person who is adult or have crossed the age of 18. Okay, and all this person should have to take the oath of allegiance to the Constitution of India and to the nation. Okay, this is a compulsory provisions. And here is an important word. Okay, this statement says the central government may grant the citizenship. What does this word means? The word may means that after fulfilling all these conditions, it is not necessary that central government would grant citizenship to you. Okay, it may decline the citizenship to you, but these are the only these are just conditions that you should have fulfilled. After fulfilling this situation, the decision would be taken by the central ministry or the central home ministry that should the citizenship be given to you or not. And one more important thing, in central government, which ministry deals with citizenship? Is it External Affairs Ministry? Okay, is it External Affairs Ministry? No, it is the Home Ministry. Okay, it is the Home Ministry which usually or which deals with citizenship. Okay. Yes, overseas citizen. I'm not getting your point. You have commented overseas. Can you please elaborate what you mean to say? Okay. By naturalization. Okay. So the registration process is mainly for the persons of Indian origin. Okay. The next comes the citizenship, acquisition of citizenship by naturalization. Okay. So what do you mean by naturalization? Like for example, a person, an individual who was or is an American citizen or is a Chinese citizen. Okay. He came to India and he is residing in India for many years, and he has been accumulated and he has been fully familiarized with Indian culture, and he relates more to Indian culture than his home country or home culture. Okay, so in that way, that that is naturalized, to naturalize or to just get accumulated into the surroundings, okay, or to the culture or to the nation. So this process of naturalization for the acquisition of citizenship is generally related to foreign nationals who are not related to India. Okay, so the central government, here also the term is mentioned, may. It is not necessary that the central government will grant citizenship if you fulfill all these conditions. Okay, it may decline you. May grant naturalization if the person not a citizen of hostile nation. Like for example, Pakistan, China, or any other country who is at war, or who that country don't have good relations with India, that person cannot get citizenship through naturalization. Okay, and if the individual, if the individual who is applying for citizenship through naturalization process also promises to renounce his existing citizenship of that nation. Okay, he should have resided in India for 12 months. Okay, so before applying for naturalization, you have to reside in India at least for 12 months. And in total, you have to reside in India for 15 years. Okay, so in total, you have to reside in India for 15 years. From that 15 years, a total aggregated 11 years you should have resided in India plus 12 months before applying the applying for naturalization. And the person who is applying for citizenship should have a good character. But in 2019, there was an amendment known as Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019, and they introduced, that amendment introduced some changes, which are, it reduced this overall time of residence to 5 years for individuals belonging to sect of Jain, Sikh, Buddhist, Christians, Parsis, Hindu, and which are nationals of Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. Okay, so the individuals who are residing in Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, and which belong to Jain, Sikh, Buddhist, Christian, Parsis, Hindu, and Hindus can be granted citizenship of India if they have completed 5 years of residence in India. And to note here is that if the individual belongs to Muslim religion or he is Muslim, he is not entertained by this clause. Okay. The next condition is he or she should have the knowledge of 22 languages which are mentioned in our 8th schedule of the Constitution. If any one of the language he is well versed or he have knowledge of that, so he should be granted the citizenship. Or he should intend to reside in India or work in India. Okay, and he should have taken the oath of allegiance to India and the Constitution of India. Government of India may waive all or any of the following above conditions for the distinguished person. Okay, so if a person, if an individual who is well versed and is very renowned and have done a great works in the field of science, philosophy, art, peace, etc., or human rights, government can waive all these conditions for that person if he wants to acquire the citizenship of India. This clause, there is an example, we all know Adnan Sami. He was a citizen of Pakistan, but he was granted citizenship through naturalization. Okay, by incorporation of territory. Okay, so if India acquires a territory, like for example, in near future, if India is involved in war with Pakistan and India acquires whole of the Pakistan, okay, that is a possibility. Don't you think so? if India is involved in war with Pakistan and India acquires the entire territory of Pakistan, in that scenario, government of India will specify that which of the individuals of that territory will become citizen of India. Okay, and if government declares that each and every citizen of Pakistan of or that citizen of that territory will become Indian and will be granted citizenship, each and every individual will get the citizenship. Okay, so this provision was carried out in two cases. The first is Sikkim and second one is mentioned here in Pondicherry. Okay, so Sikkim in 1975, the citizens of that territory of Sikkim was granted citizenship of India and they became Indians. In similar way, after acquiring Pondicherry from the French establishment in 1962, Indian government placed a new citizenship order which was related to Pondicherry, and it is known as Citizenship Pondicherry Order, through which the persons who were residing in that territory got Indian citizenship. Fine. So in this way, we have dealt with the provisions of Citizenship Act, and through which an individual can acquire citizenship of that act of India. Fine. Now we will deal with the loss of citizenship. So we have dealt that how an individual can acquire or the citizenship. Now we will deal that how the citizenship of that individual might terminate. Okay, or how he could lose the citizenship of our nation. Fine. The first one is renunciation. If in case an individual by his whole soul heart he announces that he would he don't want the citizenship of India. Okay, so basically he is renouncing the said citizenship. So there is an voluntary declaration by the individual for the citizenship, for the renouncement. Okay, but this provision is not allowed during war. Okay, like for example, India is at war with China. Okay, and the citizen of India, an individual, he renounces his citizen. He want to renounce his citizenship. Indian government won't allow it. Why? Because that individual might have some crucial information, might have some detailed geographical location, might have the information related to some critical resources of our nation, and he might trade that information for his personal benefits with China. So in such scenarios this provision is not allowed. Okay, when a person renounces his Indian citizenship, okay, every minor child also loses citizenship. Okay, so if in case an individual is renouncing his citizenship, each and every child, minor child of his, also loses citizenship. But when the child becomes an adult and have attained 18 years of age, he can regain his citizenship by applying to the Home Ministry. Okay, so in this way we have discussed that what do you mean by renunciation. Second one is termination. In this case the individual is renouncing, but in this case the termination process is carried out. Okay, so if a person voluntarily acquires foreign citizenship, okay, like a person, an individual who is citizen, he acquires the citizenship of America, and as we have discussed that in our constitution we have only single citizenship. Okay, as soon as you acquire the citizenship of other nation, citizenship of India of yours automatically gets terminated. Okay, so this is an automatic termination, and this is also not applicable during war. Fine, so this is termination. deprivation. So these two provisions are related to the actions, are related on the actions of the individuals. Okay, but for deprivation, it the actions are taken by the government of India, that is Home Ministry. Okay, just a second. Yes. So your citizenship might be deprived by, if the citizenship is acquired by fraud. Like for example, there are provisions that you should reside at least 7 years, you should reside at least 11 years, 15 years and so on. But you have forged the fake documents which says that you have resided, but in reality you haven't resided for that much time. So that is a fraud. Okay, and in that case your citizenship would be taken away from you. Second is disloyalty. Like for example, India is engaged in a war, okay, and you have leaked some crucial information to the enemy country. So in this way, you have shown disloyalty to the nation. Trading with enemy. Like we are at war, we have severe financial crisis within our nation because of war, and an individual is trading with the enemy and having surplus of profits. In that case, or he is trading with the enemy some crucial resources of our nation. Okay, in that case as well, his citizenship would be deprived. Okay, or 2 years plus imprisonment in any country within 5 years of naturalization, living outside. Okay, fine. If you have applied for naturalization of citizenship, okay, and within 5 years you have been imprisoned in another country for 2 years, your citizenship would be deprived. Okay, or you are living outside of India for 7 years and you haven't come in back to India in this 7 years, your citizenship would be taken away from you. An important thing that this deprivation clause is applicable only in case of naturalization and registration of citizen. Okay, so if you have applied, if an individual have applied citizenship through naturalization and registration, deprivation could be taken, your citizen could be deprived by these clauses. Okay, now let's go through some unique features of our citizenship. Okay, so the citizenship of India is single citizenship. What do you mean by single citizenship? And this single citizenship is inspired or taken from United Kingdom. Okay, so we have taken our single citizenship from United Kingdom, which is centralized national identity. Okay, which is centralized national identity. Okay, so let's compare our citizenship, our type of citizenship with other countries. Okay, so in India we have only national citizenship. What do you mean by national citizenship only? Do we have citizenship of Maharashtra, or do we have citizenship of Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh and so on? Have you heard that an individual is citizen of Maharashtra? No, we all, the peoples residing in India, are citizens of India. We are not citizens of that specific state. We are domiciled in Maharashtra, but we are citizens of India. Okay. So what is the purpose of such single type of citizenship? Actually, it promotes the national unity, fraternity and integration for the nation, of the nation. So like for example, if we started granting citizenship by states, so the states which are Maharashtra and the states which are southern side of Maharashtra would discriminate with the peoples who are residing in north. Okay, like there is an economical imbalance or financial or developmental imbalance with from between North India and South India. So in this way it start discriminating, and it would ultimately reduces the feeling of fraternity or brotherhood, and overall causes a great damage to unity and integrity to our nation. So in this way, to minimize such consequences, we have single citizenship of India in our nation. Okay, but countries like UK, Australia, and France, they allow dual nationality. What do you mean by dual nationality or dual citizenship? It means that the citizen of two countries, means the individual can be a citizen of two countries. It might be citizen of UK and he might be citizen of France. That means he is having two identities or two citizenship. That is known as dual citizenship. Country like USA have double citizenship. What do you mean by double citizenship? Double citizenship means that you have a federal citizenship as well as state citizenship. Like in case of India, we have, if our India would have followed dual citizenship, we might have two kinds of citizenship. First would be an Indian citizenship, and second would be a citizenship of the state, that is Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and so on. So that is, if you have the state citizenship as well as the central or the federation citizenship or that nation citizenship, it is known as double citizenship. Okay, so a citizen of USA is a citizen of India as well as he is a citizen of California, Texas, and so on. Fine. So that is known as dual citizenship and double citizenship. And India, we follow single citizenship, which is inspired or taken from United Kingdom. Now, as we have discussed in our first slide, that we have two types of citizens. Okay, or there are two types of people who are residing in India, that is the citizen of India and the persons who are not residing in India. In this, there is also a term which we will going to discuss, that is persons of Indian origin and non-resident Indian. Okay. Yes. So in 2000, the central government, okay, the government of Atal Bihari Vajpayee formed a committee under L.M. Singhvi, and that committee was based on the fact or on the topic of Indian diaspora, and this committee was going to study on the factors of our Indian diaspora. Okay, and it suggested that the Indian diaspora or the persons of Indian origin should get or granted dual citizen for India. Okay, so the persons of Indian origin should have should get the dual citizenship. Okay, why it was important? Because when our India was going through financial crisis, there was a major factor which helped our Indian economy to regain its strength, and that was remittance. As you know that many of our Indians are working in many other nations, like the people of Kerala and southern India. They are working, they prefer working in the Gulf countries or in the African countries. People of Punjab, they mostly prefer USA or Canada to work, okay, because there are much more well established facilities and much more good lifestyle or living conditions, okay, standard of living and so on. So when they go there for work, they remit or they send money back to India for their families, okay, and in that way we have a large chunk of incoming funds, okay, which are in US dollars, okay, in many other currencies, okay. So that was an important factor, and that factor was acknowledged by the then government. So in 2003, an amendment was introduced in the Citizenship Act, and that amendment allowed the overseas citizenship card to such individuals which were persons of Indian origin, and that OCI status was granted to the individuals which were the nationals of 16 countries, okay, and except Pakistan and Bangladesh. So the nationals which of other nations of these 16 countries except Pakistan and Bangladesh were granted overseas citizenship. Why this card was granted? So that the individuals may come to India and reside peacefully for few years or for few time, some time in India, and in that way these are the rich individuals, okay, they are well established there, and if they come to India and for residing for some time, they might invest in India as well, okay. So that was the main reason. And in 2005 a next amendment was introduced, okay, and this OCI status was extended to all the countries and all the PIOs which were residing in all the countries except Pakistan and Bangladesh. In 2015 the next amendment came, and that amendment was related to PIO card, was merged with OCI card. So persons of Indian origin card was merged with overseas citizen of India card. Okay, fine. So this was some background story of overseas citizen, okay. Now let's go through some facts about the benefits and limitations of the citizen or overseas citizen of India, okay. So if you are a Indian origin person and you have got the overseas citizen of India card, so there are some benefits which are, you have the multiple entries lifetime visa. That means that you don't require visa when you come to India. You can come to India without having a visa with a multiple entry system, okay. There should be no registration of your on your arrival. Generally when a foreign national comes to India, he have to register himself for in the office of foreign registration, okay. So they don't have to register if they are OCI card holders, okay. They can work and study in India as well, okay. And they have benefits of for financial and educational purpose just like NRI, okay. We will going to discuss that what are the benefits for NRI, okay. So like for example, financial benefits for NRI are that the money earned by the NRI and which is remitted to India is not taxed by the government of India. So such benefits are also available for the overseas citizen. There are some limitations. What are the limitations? That they cannot buy agriculture land. Okay, so the OCI card holders cannot buy agriculture land, but they can buy land in the city or the urban areas. Like they can have a plot or a flat, but they cannot buy agriculture land. Okay, so this is important. They cannot vote. Okay, they cannot vote in the elections of parliament or state legislature. They cannot hold any government jobs, okay, or the positions which are prestigious or any other position like president, vice president, governor or chief minister, or they cannot become an IAS or IPS, or in case of state services like deputy collector or DYSP and so. So these are the benefits and limitations of OCI card holders. Okay, now comes to NRI. What do you mean by NRI? NRI's full form is non-resident Indian. Okay, and who is this non-resident India? Any person. Does non-resident means that if you visit like Singapore for a month, are you a NRI? Because though you are a non-residing, you are not residing in India currently, but have you this? Do you have the status of NRI? No. Why? Because if an individual who is residing outside India more than 6 months for work and study purpose is known or is known as NRI, okay, or has grants gives the status, the government gives the status of NRI to such individuals. Fine. So now comes the status. So who gives this status of NRI or an individual or a citizen of India? A status of NRI is granted by which authority? Okay, so the authority is the Income Tax Department of Government of India. And what are the benefits? The benefits of being an NRI is that they can have overseas bank account. Okay, they can have special reservation in education. They can also vote in Indian elections, like for parliament and state legislature. And their income cannot be taxed by the government. Okay, so all these changes were introduced in the recent amendments for NRIs so that the NRI could remit the maximum amount without having any problems or any issues like taxation and all those things. Okay, so there are some limitations as well. What are the limitations? This NRI people or individuals cannot buy agriculture land just like overseas citizen. Okay, and their income, if they are earning income in India, okay, or the income sources are in India, that income would be taxed by the government. Okay, so in this way we have understood overseas citizenship, okay, NRI. We have understood or gone through the provisions of Citizenship Act. We have gone through the provisions of constitutional Indian constitutions as well, that in which way you can acquire the citizenship or by which way your citizenship may be terminated. Fine. Now our last section, that is related to PYQs. Okay, so our first PYQs. Why I am taking this PYQs? So that you can have an idea that what type of questions are asked from this chapter. Okay, so our first question is, citizenship is dealt with under which of the part of our constitution? So I have told you in the very first slide, okay, that part 2nd of our constitution having article 5 to 11 is citizenship of India. Okay, the chapter is mentioned here. Second question says, which article deals with person voluntarily acquiring foreign citizenship? So we have also discussed this thing, that article number 9 have the provisions related to persons voluntarily accepting or acquiring foreign citizenship. In that case, his citizenship, which is Indian citizenship, would be automatically terminated. Fine. Third, who among the following is India's first citizen? Okay, we have also discussed this thing, that our president is the first citizen of India. Okay, OCI card was introduced through which amendment? Okay, so we have also dealt with this and we have also discussed that OCI card was introduced through which amendment? Okay, so the answer is option number D, A and C. A and C. In 2003, the OCI was introduced, and in 2015, it was merged and with PI, person of Indian origin. Okay, fine. So I hope that you have understood each and everything, each and every section, article, provision, each and every act we have discussed here, each and every term we have discussed. If you have any sort of confusion, if any sort of questions are there in your mind that are confusing you in certain terminologies or sections or provisions of this chapter, kindly comment. We will discuss here that and we will try to sort out your issue. Okay, I'll wait for some time for your questions, okay, in the comment section. And for the meantime, this is our contact. You can contact here through email. Okay, you can contact here through us through Instagram. You can contact us through Telegram, YouTube, and through phone number. Okay, kindly note down these details of our institute, and we are available here for you. You can come to our institute. We can have a discussion. If you have any confusion about polity or any other subject, we have expert faculties here to guide you for your success in the combined exam. I hope that you don't have any sort of confusions, okay, or any questions related to this chapter. Okay, so we will end this session here and kindly continue our demo lecture series in the coming week. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you.